Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to consider a reality that many see but few truly understand. The life of a woman, both as one who walks alone and one who walks in covenant. There's a journey every woman takes, a road paved with choices, challenges, and the call of destiny. Some will travel it with a partner by their side. Others will forge their path independently. But make no mistake, both roads demand strength, wisdom, and purpose. The world often tries to place a woman in a box, defining her worth by her marital status. It tells her that she is incomplete if she is unmarried, that she has arrived if she is married. But let me tell you the truth. A woman's value is not determined by a ring on her finger, but by the purpose in her soul. Before she is a wife, she is a woman. Before she is a mother, she is a person of divine design, filled with gifts, talents, and vision. A married woman and an unmarried woman both stand in the arena of life, but their battles are different. The unmarried woman fights to establish her identity in a world that pressures her to conform. She faces the whispers that say, "When will you settle down?" As if her greatest achievement must be tied to another. But she is not waiting. She is growing. She is learning. She is discovering who she is without the shadow of another. And that, my friends, is power. Because a woman who knows who she is before marriage will not enter it looking to be completed. She will enter it to complement. The married woman walks a different road. She has entered a covenant, a divine agreement that requires sacrifice, patience, and an understanding that love is not merely an emotion but a decision. Marriage is not just companionship, it is responsibility. It is the daily act of choosing to build, to uplift, to support, and to navigate life's storms together. But here is the truth. Marriage does not erase individuality. A woman does not cease to be herself when she becomes a wife. If she does not continue to cultivate her identity, she will find herself lost in the role of someone's wife rather than the woman of purpose she was created to be. And so, whether married or unmarried, the call is the same. Become the woman who maximizes her gifts. Become the woman who understands that singleness is not loneliness, but preparation. Become the woman who sees marriage not as the end goal, but as a partnership of two whole individuals building something greater together. To the unmarried woman, do not rush. Build your foundation. Know your worth before another affirms it. To the married woman, do not forget yourself. Love, serve, but also grow, because a woman who ceases to grow will eventually fade, even in the midst of love. Marriage is not a promotion, and singleness is not a punishment. There are both assignments with purpose. And when a woman understands this, she walks in confidence, knowing that whether she stands alone or stands with another, she stands in purpose, in power, and in destiny. A woman's worth is not defined by marital status. A woman's value is rooted in her purpose, not in whether she is married or unmarried. She is complete in herself, designed with gifts, talents, and a unique destiny. The unmarried woman's journey is about growth, not waiting. Singleness is not a season of lack, but of preparation and self-discovery. An unmarried woman should focus on building her identity, purpose, and vision before entering a relationship. Marriage is a covenant, not just companionship. A married woman must understand that love is a decision, not just an emotion. Marriage requires sacrifice, patience, and the commitment to build and grow together. Marriage does not erase individuality. Becoming a wife does not mean losing oneself. A married woman must continue to develop her identity, dreams, and purpose rather than just fulfilling a role. Both singleness and marriage have unique challenges and responsibilities. The unmarried woman faces societal pressures and the need for self-establishment, while the married woman carries the responsibility of maintaining a healthy purpose. Both married and unmarried women must walk in purpose and confidence. Whether single or married, a woman must focus on becoming the best version of herself, maximizing her potential, and embracing her divine assignment with power and confidence. A woman's worth is not defined by her marital status. This is a truth that must be established deeply within the heart and mind of every woman. Society has for generations conditioned women to believe that their ultimate validation comes through marriage, as if their value is unlocked only when they become a wife. But nothing could be further from the truth. A woman is not an incomplete being awaiting completion. She is a whole, capable, and powerful individual designed with purpose long before she enters into a relationship. From childhood, many girls are raised with the idea that marriage is the pinnacle of their achievement. Fairy tales and cultural narratives often depict the happy ending as finding the one, reinforcing the notion that a woman's story is incomplete until she is attached to a man. But this perspective robs women of the realization that their life's purpose is not tied to another person. It is rooted in their own unique identity, gifts, and calling. A woman is first an individual before she is a wife, a mother, or a caregiver. Her worth is established in her ability to grow, contribute, and fulfill her divine assignment, whether or not she ever wears a wedding ring. Every woman has talents, skills, and ideas that the world needs. To measure her value based on her relationship status is to limit her to a single aspect of life, when in reality she is a multifaceted being capable of extraordinary impact. Consider this: before a woman becomes a wife, she is already equipped with intelligence, ambition, and creativity. If she does not recognize this, she may enter marriage expecting her husband to give her an identity, to affirm her worth, and to define her significance. This mindset creates dependency rather than partnership. A woman who understands her value before marriage brings confidence, stability, and purpose into the relationship, enriching it rather than relying on it for validation. On the other hand, when a woman is unmarried, whether by choice or circumstance, she must never see herself as lacking. Singleness is not a waiting period. It is a season of growth, discovery, and empowerment. Some of the most accomplished women in history made their greatest contributions outside of marriage because they understood that their identity was not attached to a title, but to their purpose. A woman should never feel pressure to rush into marriage out of fear of being left behind. There is no timeline for fulfillment and no expiration date on purpose. Furthermore, a woman's worth is not increased by marriage, nor is it decreased by singleness. The notion that a married woman is more respected or more successful than an unmarried woman is a flawed societal construct. A woman is as valuable on her own as she is within a partnership. Marriage is a role, not an achievement. It is a responsibility, not a validation. It is crucial for women to embrace their identity with confidence, knowing that they are already whole. Whether single or married, a woman must stand firm in her purpose, invest in her personal growth, and refuse to be defined by external expectations. The world benefits most from a woman who knows her worth. Because when she does not settle, she does not shrink, and she does not compromise her potential. She rises, she leads, and she fulfills her destiny, not because of a relationship status, but because she is and always has been enough. The journey of an unmarried woman is not one of waiting, but of growth, discovery, and preparation. Too often, society paints singleness as a period of lack or incompleteness, as if a woman is merely in transit, waiting for marriage to grant her a sense of purpose. But the truth is that singleness is not a void to be filled. It is a season of empowerment, a time when a woman has the greatest opportunity to cultivate her identity, strengthen her gifts, and establish a strong foundation for her future. When a woman is single, she has the unique advantage of focusing on herself without the added responsibilities that marriage brings. She has time to develop her career, build her skills, and pursue personal goals without needing to accommodate the needs and expectations of a spouse. This is not selfishness. It is preparation. A woman who invests in herself before marriage ensures that she enters any future relationship as a whole, confident, and purpose-driven individual, rather than someone looking for validation or completion from a partner. Singleness is also a time of deep self-discovery. It allows a woman to learn who she is outside of societal pressures or relationship expectations. She has the freedom to explore her interests, establish her values, and determine the kind of life she wants to build. When a woman does not take time to discover herself, she risks entering relationships that do not align with her true desires, simply because she has not yet defined them. A woman who knows herself is not easily swayed by external pressures. She stands firm in her decisions and chooses a partner who complements her journey rather than dictates it. Additionally, an unmarried woman has the ability to cultivate emotional and financial independence. Many women enter marriage unprepared, believing that love alone is enough to sustain a partnership. But love without wisdom can lead to struggle. A woman who is financially secure before marriage does not enter into a relationship. She is not dependent on a partner for survival, which allows her to make decisions from a place of strength rather than desperation. Emotional independence is just as crucial when a woman learns to be happy, fulfilled, and content within herself. She does not place the burden of her happiness on another person. This creates healthier, stronger relationships in the future. Furthermore, singleness is not a delay. It is a strategic season where a woman is being equipped for her destiny. Many women who rush into marriage without maximizing their single years often look back with regret, realizing that they did not fully embrace the opportunities they had when they were unattached. Every season of life has its purpose, and when a woman views singleness as a time of intentional preparation rather than waiting, she shifts her mindset from longing to thriving. It is also important to address the societal pressure that unmarried women often face. The question, "When will you settle down?" implies that a woman's life is incomplete until she finds a husband. But no woman should ever feel pressured into a relationship simply to meet an expectation. True settling is not about marriage. It is about settling into purpose, confidence, and self-awareness. A woman who knows her worth does not rush into commitments to appease others. She makes decisions based on wisdom and clarity. The unmarried woman is not waiting. She is building. She is learning, growing, and positioning herself for the future she desires. She is establishing a foundation so strong that when the time comes for a relationship, she is not looking for completion, but for partnership. Whether marriage comes or not, she walks in fulfillment because her purpose is not tied to a man. It is tied to a destiny. Marriage is more than companionship. It is a covenant, a divine agreement that requires responsibility, commitment, and an understanding that love is not just an emotion, it is a decision. Many enter marriage with the belief that it will automatically bring happiness, security, and fulfillment. But marriage is not a destination. It is an ongoing journey that demands continuous effort, selflessness, and growth. The word covenant carries a weight far greater than a mere contract. A contract can be broken when circumstances change. But a covenant is a sacred bond that calls for dedication beyond emotions and external conditions. A woman who enters marriage with a covenant mindset understands that love is more than romantic feelings. It is a commitment to build, to serve, and to uplift her partner, even in difficult times. One of the greatest misunderstandings about marriage is the belief that it will fix personal struggles or fill emotional voids. But the truth is, whatever a woman has not dealt with before marriage will only magnify within it. Marriage is not a solution to loneliness, insecurity, or a lack of purpose. If a woman does not know her identity before marriage, she may find herself lost within the role of wife, struggling to find her voice within the relationship. A successful marriage is built on two whole individuals coming together, not two incomplete people looking for each other to fill the gaps in their lives. Marriage requires sacrifice. It is not about what one person can receive, but about what both can contribute. In a world that often prioritizes self-gratification, many struggle with the idea of selflessness within a relationship. However, partnership is about understanding that love is not about constant personal gain. It is about giving, supporting, and growing together. A woman who enters marriage with a selfish mindset will find herself frustrated when the realities of responsibility replace the illusions of romance. Another crucial aspect of marriage is patience. Love does not always feel exciting, and emotions can shift over time. A covenant-based marriage is not dependent on fleeting passion, but on the conscious decision to remain committed, to communicate, and to navigate challenges together. It is during difficult seasons that the true strength of a relationship is tested. Without patience and endurance, many marriages fall apart because they were built on feelings rather than on a firm foundation of understanding and mutual respect. Marriage also comes with responsibilities that go beyond personal desires. A woman who is married steps into a partnership where decisions affect not just herself but also her spouse and eventually her family. Financial planning, emotional support, and long-term vision become shared responsibilities. If a woman is unprepared for this level of commitment, she may feel overwhelmed by the demands that marriage places upon her. However, when she enters with the right mindset, understanding that marriage is about building and not just receiving, she positions herself for a relationship that thrives. Furthermore, a covenant-based marriage recognizes the importance of growth. Just as individuals evolve, so does a relationship. A woman must continue to develop herself expand her mind and pursue her passions, even within marriage. Some women make the mistake of losing themselves after marriage, placing all their focus on their spouse while neglecting their own growth. But a strong marriage is not built on dependency. It is strengthened when both partners continue to evolve, support each other's dreams, and encourage one another to become the best versions of themselves. Marriage is not just about having a companion to share life's moments with. It is about being part of something greater than oneself. It is a commitment to love beyond emotions, to give beyond convenience, and to remain steadfast even when challenges arise. A woman who understands this truth enters marriage not as someone looking for happiness, but as someone ready to contribute, to nurture, and to build something that lasts. Marriage does not erase individuality. A woman does not cease to be herself when she becomes a wife. One of the greatest misconceptions about marriage is the idea that once a woman says, "I do," her personal identity must take a backseat to her role as a wife. While marriage is a partnership, it should never become a place where one's uniqueness, dreams, and ambitions are lost. Instead, marriage should enhance and strengthen who she already is. Before marriage, a woman has a unique personality, a distinct calling, and a vision for her life. She has passions, goals, and desires that make her who she is. These do not disappear the moment she becomes a wife. A woman who abandons her individuality in marriage risks losing the very essence of what made her valuable in the first place. Marriage is meant to be a union of two whole individuals who bring their strengths together, not a process where one person disappears into the other. Some women unknowingly surrender their identity in an attempt to fulfill what they believe is the ideal role of a wife. They stop pursuing their dreams, neglect their personal development, and devote themselves entirely to their spouse and family, believing this is what love requires. While commitment and service are important in marriage, they should never come at the cost of a woman's personal growth. And a woman who stops developing herself will eventually feel unfulfilled, which can lead to frustration, resentment, or even a sense of emptiness within the marriage. Marriage is not meant to limit a woman, it should empower her. A strong relationship is one where both partners encourage and support each other's growth. A husband should not be intimidated by his wife's success, nor should a wife feel guilty for pursuing her purpose. A woman who remains true to herself, who continues to grow intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, brings more value into her marriage because she is operating from a place of fulfillment rather than lack. It is also important for a woman to maintain her own friendships, hobbies, and interests outside of marriage. Too often, women enter into relationships and slowly withdraw from the very things that once brought them joy and inspiration. While marriage requires time and effort, it should never become a woman's only identity. When a woman keeps a sense of balance, nurturing her marriage while also maintaining her individuality, she creates a healthier dynamic where both she and her spouse thrive. Another critical aspect of individuality in marriage is self-consciousness. A woman who remains secure in who she is does not feel threatened by the opinions or expectations of others. She does not need validation from her spouse to know her worth. When a woman maintains her sense of self, she is less likely to lose herself in the process of trying to meet the ever-changing demands of marriage. Additionally, maintaining individuality in marriage does not mean living separate lives or being disconnected from one's spouse. It means embracing personal growth while still being a dedicated partner. A woman who continues to invest in herself brings fresh energy, new perspectives, and greater strength to her marriage. She is not just a wife, she is a visionary, a leader, a nurturer, and a woman of purpose. Marriage should be a partnership where both individuals evolve together, not a place where one person's growth is sacrificed for the sake of the other. A woman who knows her identity before marriage and continues to cultivate it after marriage will experience greater joy, confidence, and fulfillment. When she understands that marriage does not erase who she is, but rather complements her journey, she walks boldly in both love and purpose. Both singleness and marriage come with unique challenges and responsibilities. A woman's life, whether married or unmarried, is not without struggles, but the nature of these struggles differs. Understanding these challenges allows a woman to navigate her journey with wisdom, confidence, and purpose rather than frustration or confusion. For the unmarried woman, one of the greatest challenges is societal pressure. Many cultures and communities place a heavy emphasis on marriage, making single women feel as though they are incomplete or waiting for their real life to begin. This pressure can lead to unnecessary anxiety, causing some women to rush into relationships without proper discernment. However, the responsibility of an unmarried woman is to build herself, to embrace her season of preparation, and to focus on personal and spiritual growth. Singleness is not a punishment. It is a time to establish a strong foundation that will sustain her in whatever path she chooses, whether she marries or not. Another challenge that single women often face is emotional and financial independence. Without a spouse, she must make decisions on her own, handle responsibilities alone, and sometimes deal with loneliness. However, these same challenges are what strengthen her. The responsibility of an unmarried woman is to cultivate emotional resilience and financial stability so that she does not enter into marriage from a place of dependency, but rather from a place of strength. A woman who learns to be content and fulfilled in her singleness will not settle for less than what she truly deserves when considering a partner. For the married woman, the challenges take a different form. Marriage is not just about love, it is about partnership, sacrifice, and shared responsibility. One of the biggest struggles a married woman faces is the balance between her personal identity and the role of being a wife. She must learn how to maintain her individuality while also being committed to the success of her marriage. If she's not careful, she may lose herself in the responsibilities of being a wife and possibly a mother, forgetting her own dreams and aspirations. The responsibility of a married woman is to nurture her marriage without neglecting herself. A strong marriage is built on two individuals who continue to grow together, not one person sacrificing everything while the other flourishes. Another challenge in marriage is communication and emotional investment. Love is not enough to sustain a relationship. There must be intentional effort to understand, support, and grow with one's partner. Many women enter marriage expecting romance to remain effortless. But the reality is that love must be nurtured through commitment and patience. The responsibility of a married woman is to cultivate a relationship that is built on mutual respect, open communication, and the willingness to grow through life's inevitable difficulties. Financial responsibility also shifts in marriage. While a single woman manages her own finances, a married woman must now consider shared expenses, budgeting, and long-term financial planning with her spouse. If both partners are not on the same page regarding financial goals, money can become a major source of conflict. The responsibility of a married woman is to be financially aware, to contribute to the household in a way that aligns with their shared goals, and to ensure that financial decisions are made wisely. Both singleness and marriage require wisdom, patience, and self-awareness. The challenges may look different, but they both demand growth and responsibility. An unmarried woman must embrace her independence and prepare for her future, while a married woman must invest in her relationship without losing her identity. In both stages of life, a woman must understand that her worth is not determined by whether she is single or married, but by how she chooses to grow, lead, and fulfill her purpose. Whether single or married, a woman must walk in purpose and confidence. Her value is not determined by her relationship status, but by her understanding of who she is, why she was created, and how she chooses to impact the world. Too often, women are made to believe that fulfillment is found only in marriage, or that success in life is measured by whether or not they have a husband. But the truth is, a woman's destiny is not tied to a ring on her finger. It is tied to the gifts, abilities, and purpose that were placed within her from the very beginning. A confident woman is powerful. She does not wait for marriage to validate her existence, nor does she allow singleness to define her as lacking. She understands that every season of life has its purpose, and she embraces it fully. When a woman walks in confidence, she refuses to settle for less than what she deserves, whether in a relationship, in a career, or in her personal growth. She does not shrink to fit into society expectations, nor does she apologize for being bold, ambitious, and purpose. Walking in purpose means understanding that a woman's life is about more than just romantic relationships. Every woman was created with something unique to offer the world, whether it is leadership, creativity, innovation, or nurturing influence. When a woman discovers her purpose, she becomes unstoppable. She is not waiting for a man to complete her. She is already whole. And if she chooses marriage, it is to complement and enhance her journey, not to define it. A woman of purpose is focused. She is intentional about her growth, her learning, and her contributions to society. She does not waste time waiting for life to happen to her. She makes things happen. She builds her skills, expands her knowledge, and invests in herself, because she understands that preparation is key to success in any area of life. Whether she remains single or enters into marriage, she does so from a place of strength, not from a mindset of dependency or fear. Confidence is not arrogance. It is self-assurance rooted in identity. A woman who walks in confidence does not allow the opinions of others to shake her. She is not easily discouraged by societal pressures or unrealistic expectations. She knows her worth, and because of that, she moves with dignity and grace. She does not beg for love, chase after validation, or settle for anything that diminishes her value. Instead, she sets standards for her life and allows only what aligns with her vision and purpose to enter her space. A woman who embraces both confidence and purpose is not easily swayed by the changes that life brings. If she remains single, she thrives, knowing that her happiness is not dependent on a relationship. If she marries, she flourishes, knowing that her role as a wife does not erase her identity, but rather enhances her journey. She is fulfilled because her fulfillment is rooted in something deeper than external circumstances. It is rooted in her understanding of her divine assignment. Ultimately, whether married or unmarried, a woman must choose to live with intention, passion, and clarity. She must reject the idea that she is less than because of her relationship status, and instead embrace the truth that her life is significant in every season. When a woman walks in purpose and confidence, she does not just live. She thrives, she leads, she influences, and she inspires others to do the same. Her worth is not in a title, a ring, or society's approval. It is in the undeniable power of knowing exactly who she is and living that truth unapologetically. A woman's life is not defined by her relationship status, but by her purpose, confidence, and growth. Whether single or married, she is not incomplete. She is a force of influence, strength, and wisdom. Singleness is not a waiting period. It is a time of preparation, empowerment, and discovery. Marriage is not a destination. It is a covenant that requires commitment, sacrifice, and continuous growth. A woman must never lose herself in societal expectations or the role she takes on. She must embrace her individuality, maintain her personal growth, and understand that fulfillment does not come from external validation, but from living with intention and clarity. Both singleness and marriage have their challenges and responsibilities, but the key to navigating either is wisdom, self-awareness, and a strong sense of identity. Above all, a woman must walk in confidence and purpose. She must refuse to settle, reject fear, and rise above pressure to conform. Whether she builds alone or alongside a partner, her value remains unshaken. Her impact is not measured by whether she wears a wedding ring, but by the legacy she leaves, the lives she touches, and the purpose she fulfills. Marriage or singleness neither defines her. Her destiny is greater than a title, a status, or a role. She is powerful, significant, and unstoppable, not because of who stands beside her, but because of who she chooses to be.